One dot is into the hills and will hit the big drop first. He spins around. Welcome to DRC Racing and Beat the Barrier Street Race 2022. You're looking from above at the bales of hay the drivers will have to navigate through in order to cross the finish line, including a roadblock crew at that finish line to advance to the quarterfinals. This is qualifying race number 6 of 8. 3 races to go, including this one with Tank Krauk from Greece, representing Falling Apart Machines in the Honda Civic TypeR, sponsored by RXGT Racing. And it's the Hyundai i20 on the left with Big Sam Jr., my own prodigy behind the wheel, representing Big Sam Racing out of the USA, sponsored by DRC Racing. And we're off and running in lap number 1. Tank has the lead, and Krauk is around the 180 and through the bales of hay. Big Sam is way behind, and Krauk comes to a stop, and it's Big Sam navigating on the outside using a bale of hay to shove Tank aside and get into the big drop and cross the finish line without fanfare to take the first race in this match. There's Tank coming to an inexplicable slide and pause in the 180, and here comes Big Sam from way back, and look how he uses that bale of hay to comfortably shove Tank to one side and giving Tank new life. But it's Big Sam Jr. that gets across the finish line and takes race number 1, and he has the lead. Let's get back up to the top for lap number 2. Big Sam comes out of it with the lead. Tank is close behind. They go through the hail. Not too much trouble there. Not much trouble there either. And Tank stays close behind. Here's Big Sam heading into the big drop. And he's into the ravine. And it's Tank that flies across the finish line, coming from behind to take the win. Let's see this again. Junior darts left, loses momentum, catching some of the track, and dives into the ravine. And it's Tank that comes through on the right side, flying over the roadblock crew and collecting his first win of the match, evening the series up at 1 win apiece. Not a lot of time to get Junior out of the ravine, but they're back at the top of the mountain, and they're ready to go for lap number 3, and Tank is out to an early lead. He's through the hay in zone 1, and no problem with the other hay as well. Has the lead and is moving quickly to the finish line and is easily up and over, and Junior's back into the ravine for the second straight time. Let's see it once again. No problem for Tank Krauk as he gets over the finish line and lands on the side of his door at the end of the runway. But it's my boy Junior who seems to be losing courage at the bottom of the big drop, now sending his car into the ravine twice in a row and has lost the lead down 2-1. Tank can close out the match with this upcoming lap 4. It's an important one. Junior needs it badly, and he's in the lead, taking control. Lap 4 is midway through. The hay is no problem. Each are taking their own path. They're into the 180, and it's still Junior into the lead. He's into the big drop, and at the right time, he finds the courage to fly across the obstacles in front of him and gets the important win to even this matchup at 2-2. In the replay, you see Tank is right there, but he pulls the emergency brake and power slides the car to the edge of the ravine, probably saving his car from tremendous damage at the bottom of that gap. But there is Junior on all fours. Once again, let's look at the replay in the backstretch. Both cars taking different pathways through the hay, much denser than it was in the previous race, but both cars come out of it well. Tank is right on Sammy Jr.'s rear end as they head into the big drop. And there's where Tank ended up, pulling the brake and sliding to a stop, saving his car from further damage. But there's no time to waste. We're going to go into the 5th and final match. In regulation, it's sudden death time. 3 wins will advance you to the quarterfinals. No points per second, no big air jumps. It all comes down to this race. The next winner that crosses the finish line will win it. But before we get there, there's a shortcut that Big Sammy Jr. was trying to take, and it looked like Tank was coming into a sliding stop on his own. Sammy gets over there to try to cut off the progress. There's a little movement from Tank, but both cars come to a rest. I don't know if it was the wall or if it was Junior, but both cars have come to a stop. This is going to be a DNF. While we go into overtime, let's talk about DiecastGifts.com and their 7% viewers-only discount. Hey, this is a great website. Highly recommend you check it out. If you're a Diecast fan, you could spend hours on that website. Well, we're off and running. It's overtime. Winner of this match will be decided right here in this race. And Tank has a lead through the bales of hay. He's got control, but Junior is right on his tail. Here we go in the big drop. And it's Tank that pulls up short, and Junior gets across the finish line. Way to go, son. Nice handspring. I can't quite tell what happened there at the end, but it looked like Sammy got across, and turnabout is fair play because this time Tank bails out on the big drop, pulling the emergency brake, throwing out the parachute, and diving into the ravine. They're close behind each other into the hills and heading into the big drop. There's Junior on all fours with bales of hay all around him. Let's see what happened coming into the big drop. There they are coming out of the hills, squaring up into the big drop, and it's all Tank, but he pulls the ripcord and goes into the ravine and tumbling to the finish line. Getting up on his roof is Big Sam Jr., who's going to advance to the quarterfinals in overtime, 3 wins to 2. Outstanding race by Tank. He gave it all he had, and in many cases probably had more opportunities to win than Junior did, but that's why they run the races. And there's the replay of the handspring and double barrel roll of Sam Jr. into the finish line area and ending up on all fours, jumping out of the car and onto his roof. Adulations from the crowd, and Big Sam Jr. and Big Sam Raceway and the Hyundai i20 will advance to the quarterfinals. 2 more races to go. It doesn't get much more exciting than that. Congratulations to my boy. Very good race. If you haven't subscribed to the DRC, this would be an outstanding time to do so. There's something about this YouTube algorithm that will help out the DRC if you smash that like button or dislike button, and don't hesitate to comment. We love to read what the fans have to say at the DRC. A special shout out to our sponsors of the race car teams, RXGT, Cliff International Raceway, and Variant Skunt Works. Of course, I'm Big Sam, and don't forget to visit the Patreon page, or you could get behind one of the next vehicles in the upcoming race, the sports cars. You don't often think of the Honda Civic as a sports car, but again, we're coming back with the TypeR, a 2016 Matchbox diecast that you, as a Patreon member, can get behind the wheel in the next upcoming race. There's also a BMW M3 GT2 that will be selected by a random DRC fan by commenting below. And you can visit the YouTube community section to keep an eye on the driver status. You've been watching DRC Racing, an exciting diecast racing experience.
And we're out, right, Phil? Hey, I'm going to call my boy. Junior, what's happening? Great race. Congratulations. Yes, I've got little Big Sammy right here with me. Yep, he's happy for you too. Hey, did he tell you the cow joke? Then I have to tell you, it's hilarious. He says, Papa Big Sammy, what do you call a cow laying in the grass? I said, Little Sammy, what do you call a cow laying in the grass? He said, ground beef.